continued the second half of your evening inside of Rippletop Camp, getting to know more of the villagers, going around, doing a little bit of sleuthing, trying to track things down, harassing some locals, as per usual, lying flagrantly to a shopkeeper to get half off of an armor set.
That was a good deal.
It was a good deal. Also, I forgot to give you advantage on that for your I just got laid swagger.
Oh yeah, I still got it.
You still got it. You didn't need it.
Still got it.
I didn't mean it like that, but it applies so well. As Leo was, everybody else, went to bed, finished out their night, and Leo got up early in the morning to go do a little bit of shopping, had that conversation with the shopkeeper, and had a dream/memory come to him and kind of startle what he was, startle a good night's sleep. And I think the rest of you just kind of drifted off, mostly with Dro grumbling into his pillow. And that is about where we left off. And so the day does arrive. Let's see here. Here we go. The light outside comes up, and very much so, the town is subdued, quiet, a little more relaxed and significantly less active than it was in the evening. And as you begin to walk around, get your day started for Leo, there is a warm shower that begins to come down from the top. The mountain down below you, one of the spouts is further down below where the Rippletop camp is. It explodes, but the cloud is large enough that it begins to hit the camp above as well. And it is lovely and warm and rather refreshing. Continues on for a good long while. And Leo, anything else specifically you are doing, as most of the people in the town are asleep, including, as far as you know, your party mates?
Probably not. I mean, the next thing that Leo's concerned about is going to the owl in the morning to collect his magical whatever that they're working on, right? But if that's still closed, then he might just go back. He might just chill out for the night.
Yeah, you do get the sense that when you got there, you were getting there around like opening time for the night shops. So it is, and after kind of poking around, talking to some people, you do get the sense like, well, some of those stalls are still open. Many of them do just open up at the night. Mostly the food and basic supplies are the ones that stay open throughout the day. Many of each one of the shops has like a good tarp system that they just like pull out from their wagons, because they get this sort of weather very frequently. They're well equipped to keep everything dry and unspoiled by the warm, misty rain. So you've got some kind of some free time to yourself until the others wake up. Doing anything, or just kind of going and hanging out?
I think he'd probably go over to the hookah lounge and choke it up for the night for a while.
Okay.
Maybe play on his little guitar a bit. Hang out with this fishy dude. Also, I didn't take note. It's my bad. But what was the name of what was the armor that I bought yesterday that he gave me?
Oh, I believe it. It would take a couple of hours, so you probably don't have it yet, but easy enough to.
Oh yeah, that's. I forgot he was working on it, and then I was gonna come back and pick it up.
That was. What's your current AC? Oh, yay.
Did you all just get it too?
Yeah, handshake just died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
So I have AC 16, and this armor was going to give me 17.
The splint mail.
Splint mail.
Yep, that's right.
I just hit the back button and it came back like immediately.
Oh, hey, nice. Do not hit refresh. Refresh takes forever.
I don't know why that worked. It probably shouldn't have.
Well, at least this is more entertaining to look. I'm looking at a rapidly occurring bar instead of a white screen, so I'll take that. So, misty rain, lights, morning music. Leo's smoking it up. And hanging out with that guy, and he kind of a sneaky dude. You gather from him that he's kind of the muscle of the joint. You know, people being inebriated and all. Like, there's a very good chance of somebody getting out of line, and so he's usually just there as a reminder to behave. He doesn't usually have to do much of anything. All right. So, moving over to those inside the lodge, I'll start with the early birds. So not Nora and Seamus. Dro and Yaslin. Yaslin specifically, is this an early morning for you, or is this sleep in? And because you guys were up late until like
this is definitely one of those
something.
sleeping mornings, and if someone wakes her up, she's gonna be furious.
Gotcha. Dro probably knows that. Mike probably knows better.
Might.
All right. So, what do you guys do when you do start to stir and wake up for the day?
Do we hear anything from outside the door of the room we're in?
A little shuffling, bustling. It's an inn, so you got people like coming and going, and there are people like in the kitchen, like clinking pots and pans and making food and whatnot. Expected sounds for sure. Are you just kind of like letting the noises come to you, or are you like trying to eavesdrop or something?
I would imagine he's face into the pillow, just kind of sitting there listening while it's quiet, seeing if anything piques his interest. Just kind of those side conversations that you accidentally overhear or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't moving yet.
All right, roll me a perception check then.
Oh boy.
Yeah, gotta go physical today.
11. Need to go get my dice.
Oh boy.
11. Not so much. Normal kind of talk. Some of it's muffled. It's kind of that like morning grogginess where your senses haven't really perked up quite yet. You do hear just a little bit of concerned voices belling. Well, if it keeps going like this, it's going to burn down half the forest, eh? Like, and you hear a response it's like, yeah, but it can't keep going, right? It has to stop at some point. And then they kind of like fade out. Dallin, I'm a little bit disappointed that that's not a giant box of chocolates like I thought it was all of a sudden. It's just a dice tray. Oh, you're muted. Or we can't hear you, or push to talk or something. Alright, everybody just stare really intensely at Dallin and try to read his lips all night.
Discord's picking up on it. Lit up.
Oh, is it just me?
No, like I didn't hear it, but Discord lit up when he talked.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Face still in the pillow. You awake?
There's nothing. There's nothing.
Awkward, like 5 seconds of silence.
Oh my fucking gosh.
Still face in the pillow.
Still nothing.
What's in this room?
No, you are not. No, you are not.
Black void. Inside the room, where's my notebook? I don't have my notes. Okay. Inside is each room has like a little bit of like a decorative motif. The room that you are in has kind of an homage to building supplies. You've got planks of wood and like a hammer, chisel, woodworking tools, kind of like listed about, and they're all old and they look well used. They look like they've been upcycled. Kind of decorated around, and there's a just kind of a general purpose trunk, couch, a couple of beds, and a spider plant sitting in the middle. Long zigzag kind of motif leaves.
Kind of roll over. See, she's still asleep.
Yeah, she's sleeping pretty tight.
Kind of sit up, staring at the door. I take it you're awake?
Who?
You don't know.
Okay. I always forget that you're talking to that. I'm like, what do you mean? You think I'm awake? No. I had the perfect dice.
It's worth a shot. So you've obviously seen what you got planned, and you like to put your 2 cents into the whole decision. What do you think we should do? And while he's having this, every once in a while, casually looking over at Yaslin to see if she budges or moves anything that looks like she's waking up.
She kind of rolls a little bit.
I mean, you've done some unique things, some dangerous things, some stupid things. majority of the time we've been by ourselves. Then we met and kind of looks over. Then we met her. Still did some stupid things. But she put up with it. She's put up with me. And like he kind of, after he says me, just kind of focuses at it on that word. You're not much of a people person, so how do you feel about this whole group adventure right now? Your definition of love is very different from mine and most others. People tolerate me. People also enjoy being around me at times. Last time people saw you, well, there's a reason we can't go back. Just kind of stares down at his hands a little bit, kind of examining them. Glances back over at Yaslin. Yeah, they are weird. Weird's always a good thing, though. Definitely not boring. I mean, one even tried to shoot me. Kind of curious if she actually could. But I feel like I'll eventually find that out, willingly or not so willingly. Yeah, definitely say boring is not something I would connect with our lives. I'm just kind of looking around the room. Look back down at his hands. Just keep your 2 cents to yourself right now. Some people still don't trust us. And I'd rather not get, look over at Yaslin, or hurt because of us. Just kind of stare off at the door. Not another one. Kind of grin. I don't think I'm technically ever alone, even if I wanted to be. You learn some people skills from that. Yeah. Stuck with you. Got it. He'll kind of get up out of bed. Double check if Yaslin's still asleep.
Sawing logs like a pro.
He'll just kind of he'll wander on out into the inn here. See what's going on here and probably get some food.
Yeah.
I can.
Easy enough to do. You walk out, immediately you're hit with the smells of like fried breads, oil from like breakfast meats of some sort. And you walk out and you see 2 very tall and thin insectoid-like people. One kind of has like a brownish exoskeleton with a little tinge of red here and there, dark black eyes. The other one is more a little bit of a like a sandy color with green eyes instead. The two of them have 4 limbs each, and they're just side by side, all 4 limbs just on both of them for a total of 8, just going about and like cooking and moving around and getting the kitchen in full swing. They seem to be very proficient at this. Definitely less staff than what it was before in the evening time, but it seems like the two of them are able to handle this all by themselves. And instead of like a server running around and whatever, they just like, as they finish up a meal and like throw it on the plate, they just point over and like call something out to like the individual who has it. And it's like some strange language you don't understand, but the people seem to like respond and come and get their own damn food and like go back and be perfectly happy about it.
We'll take a couple steps out, stop, spin around, curious how Seamus is sleeping, walk up to their door and peek in.
Is the door to Seamus and Nora's room unlocked or locked?
Gotta be locked. I don't think that we would leave it unlocked. If there's a lock, then yeah, it would be locked.
Yeah, there's a lock. It's a inn. They respect the patron's privacy and the option to choose privacy.
I'll try to turn the handle, see it's locked. Turn around and start walking to find an empty table off on its own.
Yeah, it's its own sort of thing. It's just those 2 larger tables. It's not the sort of place where you like sit with your own group. It's like if you've got 2 or 3 people, or like one person on their own, or like a group of 5 might sit with another group of 2. It's you just sit when there's an empty spot. So like the table continuously is like full of people, and you're able to find a spot to go sit down after about 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, he'll sit down for a bit and just kind of look around, watch the people for a while. Nothing really piques his interest. He'll get up and go get some food. Yeah. So eventually.
Yeah, you walk up to the cooks, and like their arms still go, and they're like, and like they don't even stop. You just hear.
I'm gonna act like I understand what you asked, but I'm guessing you asked what I would like. If not, well, I'm gonna tell you anyways. Can you just cook up some sort of meat for 2 people?
And like his 2 shorter, or the 2 limbs on the bottom are a little bit shorter, and it kind of goes like gesturing for size.
Kind of glances back at his door from his room. He should probably go big. Just start to like, not sure if he understands him, start to use his hands.
What's that? And any like has to use multiple hands because they don't have as many fingers as like they normally would. With a couple of these looking things, so it holds out. Like on 2 hands, it holds up like 7 fingers.
Just kind of be like 2 big plates. Oh, he'll go and start to in his pouch. And first pull out 2 silver or 7 silver and set it down and look at him like,
Yep. Puts it in like a little pouch and like goes to cooking, just considering a conversation is like, it looks like it's done on his side.
yeah,
He's satisfied, gets to go to work. One of the big arms reaches around like to like there's like racks inside of the smokestack. He grabs one and like throws it on the stove. It's like a big chunk of something meat.
It's meat, so Joel will just kind of chill around. If there's an open seat, sit till his food's ready, and then once he gets it, he'll get up and go back to the room.
Yeah, so Sandy eventually comes over and like sits in front of you, and that large slab has like lovely juicy like shrunk, and it's like cut into like thick slices, and you see it looks very melty, and it doesn't. And you are able to take it back to your room after a moment.
So while he's been standing around, he's also just kind of people watching, seeing if anything piques his interest again. This is a different city, different people, so it piques his interest.
Yeah, less active than the nighttime, but the overall vibe of like a total hodgepodge of non-animal or civilized races are just like mixing about. You've got a few bird people that come in and they just like get these big plates worth of like greens and salad. One of them looks like long dark black neck with a huge beak that's like got like colored stripes on it. Another one is more like a parrot with like lots of coloring, and it's like this guy's rather like broad-shouldered. And the other one looks like it's more modeled after some sort of like a mockingjay, like a kingfisher or something, like more angular, longer beak overall, and the three of them are talking. Probably not a terribly familiar sight to you to see bird folk like that. That seems to be that level of oddity seems to be the norm.
What is the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? The people around here, are they kind of just relaxed? Can I tell if there's a little tension on anything?
Moral insight.
Okay. Maybe. Oh, where'd my dice go? Math. 11.
11. Okay. You do get like a sense of general unease. There is kind of a tension. You do hear murmurings about, the little bit more like the forest being under duress from the fire for some reason. Hopefully this rain will put it out. That's unlikely. It's been going on for 3 days. You do get some people that are worried. There's a couple of people that come in and like somebody that looks like an otter folk, like long, tall, skinny bodies to get some fish, and they just look like defeated. And like somebody goes by and like, Onslow, my condolences. And just kind of like gives him a nod and like a pat on the shoulder, and he's just kind of goes back to his food. So people do seem to be having a hard time overall. There's some kind of like the feeling of like, putting a smile on to trudge through the tragedy as best they can because they don't know what to do otherwise.
I think Dro clocks that otter individual. He'd stop for a second and walk over, put his hand on his shoulders, and he'd say, I understand wearing a look on your face to not unease those around you, but in Kylie's and trust me, it will harm you in the end. So there's nothing wrong with grief. And as he's talking, he's sliding 3 gold over to him and just walks away.
He doesn't really even respond, but he just like there's something about like just somebody acknowledging what he's going through. There's just like a tear that falls down. It looks at the gold, and it's like that 1,000-yard stare where you don't even recognize what you're seeing at, or what you're looking at, and doesn't react beyond that.
And then Joe's just imagine a big ass plate of cooked meat back to the room to eat a little, and then once he gets his fill, set it on what looks to be, I guess, this table right here next to Yaslin's bed, and he'll just leave it there. And then he'll sit on his bed, pull out the flute, and kind of just look at it and wait for Sleepyhead to wake up.
Do I smell something?
That's what I was hoping.
Oh yeah, you've got a passive perception of 14. As soon as that plate comes in, you smell it.
Oh, her eyes go boop.
Disengage.
Oh!
Just look over. Morning, Sleeping Beauty.
Where is it?
Yeah, it's like within arm's reach. It's easy to get.
She like, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Morning.
and as you dig into it, it's a very light and kind of melty meats. It doesn't like sit heavy in the belly. It's not like heavy on the fat. It's more like on the sweet and almost I don't know, it's almost more like a firm custard texture. Goes down really smooth and easy.
Oh. You get this? You order room service?
I mean, I looked up technically, but I had to go get it. So yes.
Good enough. Thank you. It's great.
I bet it is. It's just being devoured.
Yeah, it's just vacuumed in.
I'm glad I got my share first.
So, plans for the day?
That's a good question. One, we should probably find the pink-haired individual, Leo. And then try to figure out your freaking bounty.
That'd be good.
Which, again, why?
Look, I looked at it, and it seemed really interesting.
You know, you should probably not speak with your mouth full.
I've been told that.
I don't doubt that. Okay. Well, either way, talking with all of the factions, it seems like we would be better off having their support and help in getting this cure in. As personally, if this is this fire elemental that the just kind of shakes his head, the ass that kidnapped us told us about, I personally do not want to punch fire or be anywhere near it, nor would I prefer you to punch fire, like you said you wanted to attempt, nor do I think you could, and there are consequences to actions. And he kind of sits and he's like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be giving me this lecture, not the other way around. But
Oh, how the turntables turn.
at this point just puts his head down and shakes. Anyways, I don't think we're equipped just yet to handle that, nor capture a flame creature. So I think it'd be best to get the favor here of the city, see what they can do to help us. And it sounds like either that contract and kind of motion towards their bag, which I'm guessing is where the contract is, or help out with the theft that happened at the library. But it also comes down to what do the other three want to do, which I'm imagining they're all still asleep. Or Leo's
We could go find
hungover
out.
in the road. I don't know. But I did technically check on Seamus and Nora, and their door was locked. Just out of pure, I wanted to see if he was sleeping upside down again. In all honesty, that shit was kind of weird. But their door's locked, so I'm guessing they're
Do you
still
want me to
asleep.
open it?
No, because we don't.
Oh, yeah.
It just leans in. I already paid enough gold, and I'm kind of broke. I'd rather not have to pay again.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we could. Let me rephrase this. I could go and knock on the door gently and see if they wake up and see if they want to go hunt down their friend who may or may not be in a street, in a tent. That's a quest of its own. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of stand up. Are you finished eating?
Yep.
Grab his stuff, put the flute away that he's had in his hand this whole time fidgeting with, and start to
This
walk to the
plate
door.
is the cleanest plate you've ever seen. Oh yeah, she cleaned it off real good.
Just bring that with you. Start to
Okay.
walk. And then we'll go and knock on Nora and Seamus's door. But he's going to stand to the side and knock on the door because he doesn't want to be shot through the door.
Immediately, like, holds his hand up just in case he needs to, like, intercept a projectile.
Pretty much just
Like her ready.
walk out.
Yeah, Nora, Seamus, it's probably about 10-ish in the morning. Like, the sun's been up and, like, clear for a few hours. And you hear a knock coming at the door.
Yeah, I think, I think we'd probably both wake up. I feel like I would be a light sleeper. I'm not sure about that either. I could be like, once I go to bed, I could be just out. I don't really know how long. Maybe I can roll some dice on that. How do we tell if we hear the knock?
You've got a passive perception of 12. So this is basic stuff. So you could probably hear it. But yeah, as far as like your personality while sleeping, yeah, that's a personal choice for you as the player.
Room service. Again, side of the door.
Yeah, I'd assume Nora's probably awake by now then too. If it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think you stayed out quite as late as the others did.
What are we?
Come back later. Unless you have food with you now.
He turns and looks at Yaslin holding the tray. There's food. Was quietly.
Give us a minute here.
Just here. Are you upside down?
What? What does it matter? As I climb down from the ceiling.
Do I hear him hit the ground?
With Seamus's like passive stealth, nah. You do hear a, and you hear like a and like something land in front of the door, and you hear kind of a.
Did that thing stay in here?
Whose is it?
I think it's Leo's. One of Leo's.
Just the handle opens the door.
I don't think it knows how to use a handle.
I don't know if Jerome knew it went in their room or not.
-3.
Why is that? But you just hear like you are just butting its head against the door.
I think it's gonna hurt itself. It's like a bird at a window.
Yes, this is. How did we get stuck watching this?
I feel like we lost a bet somewhere in there, but I don't remember placing it. Should we let the thing out? Does it have to go to the bathroom?
I'd guess so, and maybe it'll go to wherever Leo is. We could follow it.
Okay.
Guess we'll slowly get up and start getting her stuff put together.
The moment that door opens, they just see me like ready to catch anything that's gonna come out the door.
So, easy enough. You guys take a few minutes to meander out, get yourselves ready. Marcus happily chirps and flitters off and like jets out of the tent, going around and looking for Leo. You guys are able to get some food from the breakfast setup. After a few minutes, it comes along, depending on what you want and how much you want. Costs you, I don't know, if we're talking Nora's appetite, probably like 8 silver.
Sounds good.
And what's his name? Marcus? Marcus flies out. Not even realizing. Was that? And look at Yaslin. Was that with us?
Yeah, I think that's one of Leo's.
Oh, yeah. We just gonna let it go? Oh, it's gone. Okay.
But we're gonna follow it, but it's honestly moving a little faster than we are this morning, I think.
Agreed.
I mean, I feel like Leo would stick out in this kind of looks around in this city. I don't think it'd be too hard to spot.
Yep. So for Dro and Nora, give me a perception check. As you guys are just kind of getting up, and you two are kind of like the ones who keep track of the environment a little bit better.
I'll take that.
13.
23.
13. Nothing for Nora. She's still waking up a smidge. Dro, there's a very faint sound that you can't place the location of, as sounds like that kind of like squeaky squeal scratch of like a piece of glass rubbing against another piece of glass.
Oh, I hate that.
And you're just like, oh gosh, it's just that, like, not sure if that's coming from like, yeah, as you're inside, you're not sure if that's coming from like a nearby tent or something, but it happens for just a minute. It's like, it just kind of makes your ear twinge a bit.
Hearing that, he's going to, as he's just wandering around this whole time with the group, he's going to be looking to see if he could see anything that would have made that sound.
Just let me know when you want to like do another check.
Okay.
Do so. Okay. Yep. So you guys exit out. Bellies are feeling pretty good. There's a warm sunshine kind of coming through the mist. Everything's a little bit overcast, but not in a dreary way at all. and you have a new day in front of you.
Look around and see if you see Leo as soon as we step out.
Not specifically. I'm kind of carrying along that one. Or, yeah, it doesn't take you very long. It's not a terribly big village or anything. You do find him in the smoke shop. As they kind of like come through the doors, what do they see? How's Leo feeling?
Oh, he's good. He's got a big smile on his face. Got a hookah pipe in his hand, and probably having a conversation with that big fish dude.
Oh, the snake man?
Snake man. That's what I meant.
Snake man.
Yeah, and at some point you have like a very like thin lizard come up too. Just kind of like joins in the conversation.
Yeah, you here. What brings you?
We're suiting up to go on a mission.
Exciting. Yeah.
It just kind of like leaves it at that and like wanders over to like go talk awkwardly with somebody else. As you see the rest of your friends come in.
Top of the morning to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Did that bird make it over here?
Yeah, he's right here with me. It's like on my lap.
Okay.
Thought we lost it there for a bit. We were getting real worried.
Yes, we were roaming around the city looking for it.
Turn around. Were we?
Oh yeah, so concerned.
And Marcos kind of like shoots a couple of embers in your direction, just like, "Wah!"
No, I can tell you took good care of him. Thank you for watching Marcus last night. Anyways,
Nothing that's best for one of yours. Seems like you disappeared for the evening there.
Oh yeah. I just had an interesting evening. Speaking of, I wonder if that owl shop is open yet. And he'll probably just like get up and start walking in that direction and imply that you guys should follow with him, but not explicitly say that.
And not necessarily explaining his evening either.
Dro just sat down. Stand back up.
Yeah.
Wander over to this owl shop.
Yep. Leo, by now you feel like it has been about 2 or 3 hours since you placed your order for the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And easy enough to just go get it. You think you already paid for it, and you can get the you now have split mail available to you.
Nice.
Just know as if there's any of the merchants that Dro and Yaslin did good cop, bad cop to. If he sees them, he's giving them the stink eye.
No, you don't recognize any of the merchants that are out and about right now. It is very clearly like a day shift, night shift sort of lifestyle around here. So these folks are brand new. Like everything that's not like food or tools is kind of like closed down. Like the more exotic stuff of like weapons, armor, trinkets and baubles and things that like adventurers would kind of go for. It is reduced this time.
I was gonna look at Yaslin. Still got that bounty?
Yeah.
Let me see it. We'll snag it and go up to the first stall you can get to.
Yeah. She's like really invested in this, so she like comes up right behind him.
Yeah, and you see there is this stall right over here that has like a bunch of like different colored tubers, including some that are like bright red. It is empty, but you see a kind of like a heavy, like fish-looking person, almost like a catfish, like whisker setup, like kind of like crawling out of the lake, and just kind of like shakes himself off and like wanders up to the stall and be like, hello, good morning. And almost sounds like he's talking with his mouth full constantly. Good morning. Can I interest you in some water, potatoes?
Just kind of look at Yaslin, look back. Possibly. Out of curiosity, what if, say, I was looking for some information? How much would that run me?
Depends on the information.
Look back at Yaslin. And he just casually puts the paper down, like kind of basically leans on the stall, puts the paper down, not looking down at it. Someone's looking for some information about, say, a bounty to help out the city here, or to find someone that would have posted this. We really want to get some information. So this one over here, super fascinated with magic, would love to help this individual, but we don't know who posted this.
Eddie kind of like takes a minute and looks around. Nobody's told you.
You know, nobody that I feel like is smart enough to know who this is. And I figured I would come up here, and you look like an individual that knows information, knows people, and seems very helpful and friendly.
Roll a persuasion check.
I don't know why I'm doing this. No, not at all.
Damn it!
We're not allowed to talk about it.
Why?
Just leans in.
Because it's a secret and it's not part of what we do.
So how is someone supposed to help if we don't know the information? Why post a bounty?
You have to prove that you're not an enemy.
And how would we say to do that?
Your help, I guess.
That's what we're trying to do.
What do you want? I sell potatoes.
Right, we want to know who posted this bounty. You tell me, I buy some, looks down at the stall, merchandise. We both get what we want, and we leave. We won't tell you anybody where we got the information from. And let's just, between me and you, out of the two of us, motioning at me and Yaslin, I'm the nicer one. She's the more punchy one. You probably don't want to deal with her.
Roll an intimidation check.
Can I do with advantage? With Yaslin standing there?
Yaslin's getting kind of pissed off. She's like, I just want my information, man. Come on.
I don't know if it's push the limit, but can I guidance myself?
No, not on. Well, yeah, I guess you can.
Yay.
Put on everything you can.
I'm gonna look over at Nora and hold my hand up to my ear.
Oh, you guys are right next to each other.
And I'm gonna say, they're looking for a wizard named Winterblog. I don't know why the city is keeping it secret, but it seems almost like a test or something. I'm curious to see if our compatriots can pass it as well.
Right. They don't. It doesn't seem like they do this very often.
Hey, good comeback, Copper.
We each have our specialties.
I like that you
Agreed.
call them our compatriots. They're not our companions. They're just
They're two
just
strangers that
here.
showed up.
They're just in the area, so
All right, so he looks at you and he's not impressed, and like he seems kind of annoyed, and then he looks over at Yasmin. Yasmin's like cracking her knuckles and like showing some like sharp
Tell me.
teeth. It's just like, oh, dear, not again.
Not again.
Yaslin, what'd you do?
It's like, all right, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but you scare me more than they do. Yeah, there's a test. Just don't make her go away, please.
Once we get the information, she will walk away.
Okay. Are you still buying some potatoes too?
Looks down. Depends how much information you give us.
Right, okay. Look, it's Aeon, okay? There's random things are juxtaposed next to other random things all the time. One of them is here. We have our community, but there's something else too. That's more connected to the library. I don't know much. I'm a shopkeeper. They don't tell me what's going on, but I know there's something happening a little further up north, something magic-y. Like there's weird people. Like I go up there and I see people I've never seen before, and then I don't know, sometimes I'm in the water and I see them go into the water, and then I come out and I look for them from afar just because I'm curious, and they're not there anymore.
They go into the water and they disappear.
I don't know how they disappear, but I'm a Lacantha. I need to submerge, and I don't know. There's something going on.
Can I do an insight check if he's holding anything back from what he's telling us?
Yeah, sure.
You've been told to tell no one about these weird people going in the water.
I've been told to say nothing about any of this.
You don't think that's weird?
Of course it's weird. I don't make the decisions.
Why are they making you stay quiet?
I don't make the decisions.
Do you think they're hiding something? That
Obviously.
like, would you say it's illegal?
I have no idea.
Probably.
It's magic-y.
And this is just sprung up.
It happened a while ago. There's always been something going on here. You've been here. I assume you've seen that this is not a normal mountain.
Yeah, I don't know many mountains that catch on fire.
Yeah, or create their own rain. I don't know. I wake up, I sell my goods, I go to sleep.
You said these strange people. Can you be a little more descriptive? What do they look like?
Man, I don't know.
Starts to grab some of the potatoes.
Oh, that one's really nice. The red ones have some natural spice to them. It goes incredibly well with like earthy tones. Cut them up and add a little bit of like oil or like some nut butter, and it does great.
Yeah. You know what else is nice? Information. And
I told you everything I knew.
what did I get from the insight check?
14. This guy's panicked and he's just like, he's like starting to cycle in his head. Just like, he's repeating the same stuff over because he's just like scraping the bottom of the barrel. He's got nothing left.
This poor
So-
man.
Joe
Just
grab
an NPC repeating the same 3 words, the same 3 sentences over and over again.
Welcome to Jumanji.
He'll grab one more and look. One more question, and then we'll leave you alone. Well,
Please do.
these strange individuals. Did one stick out to you?
They had like a little water thing, like on its back,
Like a
like a
container?
critter.
Huh. Kind of look back at Yaslin. Grab another potato, put down 2 gold, slide it forward.
Oh, whoa! That's too much.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, and just start to walk off.
Please don't touch my back.
Don't plan on it. She might though, and just keep walking away.
Oh God! I'm gonna. You just as you leave, you kind of hear him muttering, he's like, "I'm gonna close up shop early today."
Go and find the rest of the group.
See how well that worked?
Well, yeah, you didn't have to punch anybody this time. And I mean, we got extra food. Kind of look down at these potatoes that he bought. Anybody know how to cook?
Can I just take one of them and
Throw it to you.
eat it?
Yeah, you can eat a raw potato. Like it's got kind of like a hard shell on it. A little bit like a kind of a naturally occurring sugar coating, like almost like an M&M. It's very thin. It starts off sweet and it does get decently spicy. It's giving you a little bit of heat.
Just kind of look at her. Is it good?
Yeah, you want one?
I mean, I did buy them.
I have it. Let's have another one.
So he starts to eat it. You grab 3. Then he'll just throw the other one towards either Nora or Seamus. Free food.
Thanks. I know Seamus won't eat it, so I'll just snatch it and eat it.
Yeah, Nora's enormous jaws. It's just like a 1-bite thing.
Just stare at her. Look back at Yaslin. I thought you didn't taste your food.
Yep. Seamus, because you're you, in watching the aftermath of what's going on, you see that poor little fish man like going around to like some of his other stalls and like talking like seems to be pointing you out to other people.
Seems like you've made some friends in the market here, you two.
His turn. I mean, we got information about that bounty that apparently everybody last night did not want to talk about. He kind of
That seems like some kind of insider thing here for the town. Can't quite put my finger on it yet, but yeah, no, that's some solid investigating there that you done by shaking down the market man here in the broad daylight.
yeah, the good cop, bad cop normally works.
It seems just
go.
like bad cop there.
Okay, well, I was the one that wasn't threatening to punch. She's the puncher. Wait, but
I've
do
never
punch.
punched anybody.
Spins around.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, you're a bad liar.
Do you mean this morning?
Yeah.
That's fair enough. That adds up.
Today, so far, I have been, I think, okay.
That's quite a lot of restraint, I'd say.
Leans over to her. We've only been awake for a couple hours.
I've been doing good. I only scared one person. And the rest aren't my fault.
Scared, terrified. It's ifs and ands, I guess.
It's a gray area.
Yeah. It's a gray area you can use. It kind of points back at the stall. But yeah, this bounty, they're saying this is all happening up at the library. Some water magic, some strange people showed up, one with some weird water creature on their back. The guy really said it was all, like you said, hush hush for some reason.
Let's see what Leo's got with his devices here that he's ordered. And maybe we can head up that way, start check it out. I'd like to possibly see where this escort is needed for. There's some delivery of goods that the town needs, and I think we want to help out where we can, get in the favor. It doesn't seem to be too difficult to get in on the good side here. Just do some good, nothing too fancy. That's not too bad for politicking.
Yeah.
Plus, if something has a creature on it, it might be right up Leo's alley there to kind of figure out what's going on at this library.
Fair enough.
Hard to look for
Bro,
Leo.
Nora, give me perception checks again.
Straight up missed the click.
16.
19.
19. Dro, you don't hear as clearly. Nora, still nothing. But that sound comes back in, kind of like makes you wince. And it hurts a little bit, like it's kind of like makes your head sting. Again, freaking glass rubbing against each other. It's almost like you can hear the shards starting to like jerk and like scrape against each other. And there's a slight like tone happening to it as well.
He'll just spin around and see if he sees anything that wouldn't be Can I tell where the noise is coming from, direction wise, or no?
Vaguely, like kind of like if you're like facing Yaslin, it sounds like it's directly behind you somewhere.
Behind me?
Yeah. Like, so if you're facing this way, like, coming from that away. Those neon dice. Yeah. Wait, did Dallin just roll digital dice?
I was trying to close a box and it clicked it, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" I usually have advantage on it, and then it just started throwing dice out.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of rinse a little bit and spin around that direction where it's coming from and see if anything piques his eye, someone messing with glass or anything could have made that sound.
Go ahead and give me another perception check as you're looking this time. That one kind of came in as you've been keeping an ear out for stuff.
This one, can I use guidance since
Since you're actively looking? Yeah.
25.
Okay. You look around and the first thing you see is like you're not the only one that's picking this up. You see like a kind of like a panther-like man walking down the road with like a sack of like grains or something on his shoulder. And you hear, damn it! And you see like a couple of other people reacting. There's a very slight and delicate looking rabbit person who like full up like holds her ears and just like you see several people are like starting to like kind of cringe about what's going on here. And as you're looking around, right above the water, you start to see something a little bizarre. Something is forming. Something is kind of whitish. Like in the middle of the air, maybe 5 or 6 feet off the surface of the lake.
He's immediately, guys, and start point that direction. Is that normal? And point at the hovering white thing above the water.
Not where I'm from.
No. I mean, not for me at least, but we're pretty new to this town.
Does this look familiar to Dro?
As you like stare at it, it's just like this. It begins as this like kind of like white pulse going on, and then you see it pulse again, and you see a solid-looking line appear in the air. And the air begins to crack, and every time it moves, like when you started looking at it, it already had some cracks in it, but they were faint, and they become brighter and thicker and more clear as this is happening. And you see almost like glass broken spider webs like crack out in the air, and a bell tone kind of starts seeping through the air.
Immediately, he's gonna turn to wherever Leo is. Leo? We might need you over here.
Is this the same phenomenon like that we saw in the woods with that like blinking creature? Like, is this something popping into the Aeon?
Yeah. This, as Dro like points this out, it does appear to start to look like something is cracking through a void and is about to come through.
Here's a question, GM. EM. Is there like a colloquial term for this as something that like residents of this world like would get used to this? I feel like there would become like a name for it, like so that people would be like, oh yeah, I saw a blah today. But then like I feel like that would become like slanged eventually. And I guess yeah, I'm looking for the term. Is there like, what do we call this?
Abduction.
Point, and I definitely should have thought about this beforehand.
Maybe after the break, but I'd say that. I'd be like, that looks like a blah. And everyone
blah, blah, blah.
would be like, oh yeah, that's a blah for sure.
I don't say blah, blah, blah. A
That's not vampire blah, by the way.
That's what I was thinking.
Blah.
A vampire. Damn it. A graft. And like kind of overall taken from like medical terms in like grafting something from one location and like putting on top of something else. That seems to be one of the colloquialisms that seems to be popular about this. Oops. Yeah.
Looks like a graft.
Does Dro know what that is, Morgan?
Yeah, you've been on. You're from Aeon, so
Okay.
like, yeah, and grafts have kind of historically mixed messages to them. You know, sometimes it's just a new thing coming through. They just get, sucked up into the cascade of what Aeon is. And sometimes they, sometimes, and like as you guys found with the Whistler, sometimes they're completely hostile. And it's, sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's something benign. Like every once in a while, Graft will produce something that's not even animate. It's a pretty mixed bag of what could come out.
Gets his bow staff out. Well, let's cross our fingers of whatever is coming out there doesn't try to kill us.
Fingers crossed that it does.
You have a
just
weird
wanted
fantasy.
to hit.
Is anybody having a lucky day?
I am.
Just look over it. Just puts his hand on her shoulder. Just stay here for a minute until we know it's hostile.
Fine. All right.
And it begins to expand further.
What's everyone else doing around here as this is happening?
You had some seriously high perception checks on this, so like you're catching this, 15 seconds before anybody else is, and like you're tracking this before like townspeople are, and they're just going about their businesses, except for the ones that are like starting to cringe. A couple of them are like starting to look around, but they haven't noticed it yet.
As soon as like Dro looks around and sees the civilians aren't like getting away from it, he's gonna yell like, "Hey, back up!
And
Get away
like
from the water!"
There's a very like tall snake man with like an extended neck that kind of droops down, who's like herding some like little, some sort of like fowl, like some little birds. I was like, back up from what? What are you talking about?
Points at it.
And he was like, what do you mean? What? And like he drops to his knees and like grabs a bunch of his like chicken things and like does a little clucking like little sound, like get the rest to follow him, and he's like just running through the town. Grant!
Oh, they're smart.
And the rest of the townsfolk like begin to catch the wind of what's going on, and they start looking around, and generalized panic begins to set in. Graphs are not usually benign, or they can be, but it's Aeon. Everything's always trying to kill something. That's the general rule of thumb. So people tend, especially simple people, tend to err on the side of caution. And as that's happening, and as things are, as people are like starting to settle and freak out, you see a hand come through, like one, and it's like it looks blue and smooth, but with like some crystalline, almost like crystal. It's got some spikes on it. And it kind of yanks it open a bit more, and it's the sound of like strained glass and more bell tones comes through again. And the other side comes a sword, like a gleaming flat blade that like grabs the edge and like wedges it open, and you begin to see a kind of a bluish crystalline form come out and land straight on the lake, and right below it begins to freeze.
Lovely.
I'm going to reach my hand out to Nora and put my hand on her shoulder, and I'm going to twin cast invisibility.
Nice.
Right.
As this thing does this, can I go ahead and where is it? If I can find it. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Guess I'm assuming we're gonna fight this. I hope we're gonna fight this.
She's itching for a go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
That's
ahead
not
and
the right
use
one.
this. Can use it.
How big is this thing, by the way?
About the size of a large human, and comes out and lands on the ground, and like 3 or 4 more of
Got
them
it.
come out afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know how to activate this, but essentially she's gonna shift, which isn't her transforming. It's her it's her eyes. That's what it is.
Gotcha. Okay. And like 4 of them pour out of this thing, and they start looking around, and they see like a couple of like the townsfolk, and they just begin to step towards them, pace towards them in a.
Right.
They do immediately appear hostile.
So Droz just looks around. Nora and Seamus are gone. Well, Nora's decided to walk away. This would be a perfect time to shoot. And he's gonna throw out fairy fire in their direction.
At this point, as things are happening, I need everybody to roll initiative.
Okay, so did I not get opportunity to talk to little owl dude first?
Owl
Owl Dude.
Dude's still not at his stall. It's still only like 10 a.m.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Poor Owl Dude's gone.
Everybody's running. You're like, oh no, Yaslin's done something.
Yep. Like as you're looking around, like trying to, like the people just like start shuffling away. So everybody go ahead and give me initiative.
Yes, and don't forget you get advantage from the I can't
Who you-
remember what it's called.
Okay. Well,
Vigilant blessing.
it's still. I rolled 2 2s.
Oh, unfortunate.
It might,
This is a little unfortunate.
it might not go through.
Nope, did not.
Well, that's lame.
Why is it giving me so many pluses? That's.
Okay, let's do this way.
I don't think that's correct.
14. With a
Okay.
+5
Damn.
to initiative. Absolutely terrible.
I'm right up there with you.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Okay.
I got a plus.
I like Yaslin's pluses. She got +1.
I don't know why it looks like that. I don't.
With
think it
advantage too.
Something weird's happening. And first one to go is one of these like frosty creatures, and like as it like starts to walk, it begins to like create a frosted trail of ice on top of the surface, and there's electricity that seems to be like jolting around inside of the body of the creature, and it immediately starts moving towards that chicken man that was screaming and running away, and is going for the civilian, and is going to go and do a slam attack. Yep, that'll hit. That's a. Oh wow! But that'll be 3 points of damage because he rolled a 1. So 7 points of damage to the chicken man. It like comes up and like hits him hard in the back, and he just drops to the ground. Chicken man is a civilian. He needs to roll a Constitution save.
Dead.
And you see him kind of like the impact strike has like this kind of cold frost in the middle of his back, where it starts to like spread out and kind of like encapsulate him. And he doesn't look like he's able to move quite as well, and he does not look like he's in a good spot. Beginning the combat. Next up is one of these guys, and they're gonna go off and try to. Basically, he's going to. Let's make sure this is working. He's gonna run over here, and he's gonna. Oh, come on! Why is it not letting me do multiple stops? But he uses a dash action to go after the folks that are over here. In Seamus, over to you. Oh, and Seamus's invisibility has a little extra effect. I can't
Extra
tell which is
cool.
which. I'm gonna delete one.
Oh yeah,
I deleted the right
yeah.
one.
I used like my own effects or whatever statuses to add it, so hopefully that wasn't a problem.
No, not a problem. I just had already assigned it to you, so cool. Okay, so Seamus being all spooky spook.
I'll say, like, I'll whisper over to Nora now that like we're both invisible. Like, I can't see you until you take a shot, so make sure it's a good one. And then I'll say, like, I'll be back in just a minute. And then I'm gonna dash across the way here. Let's see. So I'm gonna bonus action dash as a cunning action to start. And then I'm going to use my action. I think that's there. And then I guess I'm going to have to use the rest of my action. I'm going to run into the adventurer's door. And even though I'm invisible right now, I'm going to say, like, as I run in there, I'm going to say, there's been a craft. There's monsters attacking the village. Get the hunters. And I will start with that as my first turn there.
Okay. Sounds good. And there's that same. You haven't met him yet, but there's that same like portly, dragonborn with the he's so old that like his tendrils are like graying out. Essentially, it's a craft. Oh boy! And he like gets up and like goes and like bangs on the door, and it's go. There's a craft, and she immediately opens the door. I heard whoever told you, and like walks right by him, and you see Escala like starting to come out. And
I would step out of the way of the door so that people can easily walk past me. Like,
Trample him.
yeah.
Cause her panic.
Okay, there we go. And who said that? And is coming out and starting to see what's going on. Begins to like shout and bark orders as more and more of these things like start pouring through. Nora, over to you. Dro is up on deck.
Well, since I am invisible, I will be sneaky-ish, but I'll just move. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want to make sure this was 30. Oops. 30 feet. Yeah, I'll just move 30 feet this way, son of a biscuit. 30 feet over here. That way I can kind of see some of the stuff. And I will shoot the guy that punched the chicken dude, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty close. So I'll take aim with my pepper box, and I will. Let's see here. I can't remember what's underneath. Features and traits, maybe. There we go. And then we'll use the marksman, and we will be using a. We'll pump in we'll pump in one of these dazing shots to give him disadvantage if he fails.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we'll shoot that guy down there with, I believe that's 19.
Yeah, 19 will definitely hit.
Okay. And then it's a D10. For 9 damage on the first shot, and then he has to make a con save of 16, I believe. Yes, the con save was 16.
con save. That is a 14. So what's the effect?
So he has disadvantage on attacks until the end of their next turn.
Oh, okay, and are your bullets considered magical?
I don't believe so. I think I was just shooting normal bullets, so it'd just be.
Okay. You see like the bullet kind of like glance, like it bounces a little bit more rather than like impacts. There's a chunk that like flies off, but it does not do as much as you think it should.
Well, that's quite annoying. I do have stuff for this, and so I will spend my second action, I guess, just reloading, but I will load in silver bullets.
Okay. And just to specify, silvered are not automatically considered magical.
Right, I'm just hoping that they change. Some things are, take more damage from silver and stuff, so I'll see if this will help out at all.
Okay, and did you roll your attack with advantage because you were stealthed?
I did not. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead and do that just in case it's a 20.
It's a bigger number, but it's not a 20.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and the invisibility pops.
Fantastic.
Okay, anything else for your turn?
I think I will save my action surge for now. So yeah, that's all I will do.
Okay.
Now I'll load in those silver bullets. Heck yeah.
Cool. Then Rose up.
Seeing what that one did to that guy when he touched it concerns Dro a little bit. So he's gonna put his hand on Yaslin's shoulder. You wanna fight something? You're gonna watch as his hand will flash purple for a minute and like an outline of like purplish kind of outlines her body. As he casts Shield of Fate on Yaslin. Go hit those things.
Yeah, like let's go.
What's the effect of
She
Shield
gets
of
a
Fate?
+2 to her AC.
Okay. Nice. So we're gonna bump that up to. Let's see here.
Do this too.
19 now.
19.
And also
Okay.
say, don't let those things hit you.
And is that a concentration on your part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Also, my shift gives me 6 temp HP. So I put that on.
Okay. Sounds good. Leo, let me see. Yep, we've already got the temp HP listed on Marcus for you.
Do this
Okay,
as well. So it takes-
Dro, what else for you?
Just throwing that so it does this thing. I think he's going to position himself be somewhat between our group. So he's gonna go. What was it? What was it to spacebar? Oh, I'm colliding with a wall.
Wait.
That's why.
Yeah, you click
Yeah,
anchor
walls.
and then press it, and then when you click your final destination, you should be able to hit spacebar. For some reason, I can't do that.
So he's gonna step back and just watch and study what happens when someone hits it up close. Especially concerned after it touched that one guy and him start to freeze. Just let Yaslin go to town. That's all I can do right now.
Okay. Next up is one of these guys, and it's gonna step across the lake, freezing every step that it takes. And closest thing appears to be Escala as she starts coming out of the building. Why did that stop? That should not have stopped, you stinking thing. I don't get it. Okay. It's gonna walk up to Escala, target it, and it's gonna go for a slam attack on her. Ooh, yeah, that'll definitely hit for a 21. And that does. Okay, cool. Yep, it's taking out properly. That is 14 points of damage, and she succeeds on the Constitution save as it comes up and like slices across her, and like she like raises her arm up, like as she's like coming out the door and wondering what's going on. Like this thing is like basically almost on her immediately. She holds up her arm and just slices down. It starts to freeze a little bit, and you see like little arcs of electricity. And so she takes the hit. Next one. Nora made a big, loud sound. It's interested in Nora.
Loud sound.
Come on, Nora, it's okay. You got this.
Let's see here. Okay, and I'll fix this one in a moment, but it's gonna come over here and create its little ice trail this way.
So all of those are just frozen water.
Yeah, it's just frozen water from where they walked across, just innately being cold.
Okay.
So it's going to go up and do an attack on Nora, coming up and like going for like a big like kind of downward haymaker to the face. And that'll be what? What are you talking about?
It changed its mind.
Yeah. Okay. 15. Comes down for a 15. Nora just
17
like
here.
just ducking out of the way as it just kind of crushes its hand to the ground and rips it out and just starts looking at you. Just like some mist falling out of its cold mouth and like little sparks of electricity coming out as well. All right. Escala is gonna go, and I forgot what her stuff was like. I'm clicking on all the wrong things. Oh yeah. Okay. She is going to attack this guy. And I'm going to take this off of Nora so I don't try to kill Nora from afar.
Don't kill me.
She's going for a claw attack on this thing and a bite attack kind of simultaneously. That is 19. That will hit. That'll be 13 points of slashing damage, but it is reduced for not being magical. Come on now. Apply. How are we doing now? There we go. It's working. And the second one is a bite attack. That one misses. With only getting a... Oh no, that actually hits. So just the bloody arm like comes down, scrapes, and like bites on the other side, and the creature starts to like lose chunks of ice out of it, and doesn't seem to be doing a lot of damage to it. But this thing probably doesn't have a lot of ability in the first, or a lot of defensive ability in the first place. Leo is up next, and Leo's got Marcus in the same space.
Yeah, so Leo will go first. He's gonna make his way around to this, and at the back of this guy here, and swing his crystal short sword at him.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll at advantage. All right, yeah, dirty 20 absolutely hits as you glide the blade down its back. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right, and then I don't think it calculated, but my short sword has an ability that has charges, and then it gives a 1d3. Or wait,
It did 1d8 radiant.
oh, that may be it. Expended when you. Oh no, this is me regaining. Never mind. That's me regaining some health points from my hit, which I didn't do. So.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, so the first attack goes through. No resistance because it is a magical sword and just slices straight down the back and carves open. You can actually, it's a pretty good hit. You can kind of see like this electrical crystal core in the middle of this thing and starts to spark violently as it's exposed to the air. That's your first attack. You do have more.
Yep, I'll go ahead and hit him one more time with the same sword.
Okay, go for it. And at advantage once more. Yeah, 24 will hit. Go ahead and roll that damage again. All right, 6 more this time. Okay, and not quite there. You kind of cross it to have an X on the other side, and more that starts to spill out, like little pieces of ice shards, kind of like start to bleed out of the other portions of its icy body, and just like form a pile of like almost snow on the ground below it, but it is not quite gone.
All right, and that'll be it for Leo's turn, and Marcus will join the fray and do his multi-attack on this guy too.
Yes, good. And yep, that's just one with its beak, one with its claws.
Yep. And there goes beak.
Yep, good enough. That'll hit.
Claws, roll attack as well. I mean, I don't know if I need it, but he does them at the same time, so.
Yeah. Both hit. Armor class is a 12.
Perfect. Damage. Yeah, all right, that got him.
That did get him, and as Marcus comes in and like scratches down, he gets a. Let me see. Did we? Yeah, we gave. It's a specific ability for. That's right. Marcus's ability to like wreathe his claws and beak in fire is an ability specifically, so it's not something that he actively like has all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you didn't use that one. So it just comes down like Marcus scratches against the core as well, just like you did, and this thing like falls apart, and that core lands on top of like this shattered mound and begins to destabilize. And explodes out. And I need, let's see, everybody within 10 feet. So that's Leo, Marcus, and Nora to do a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw of Dex, 15.
Okay, Nora makes it. Leo does not. And
neither does Marcus.
And Marcus does not. So that is an explosion goes out, like little crystalline cold shards that are doused in electricity just blow out like a small grenade went off. That is 6 points of cold and lightning damage together, reduced down to 3 for Nora.
Nice.
Okay, so for me, should I just deal 6 to each of us because we're both next to it, or is
yes,
it?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. I'll just take off Marcus's temp HP and take 6 off of Leo.
Okay. So that one is DED dead. Yaslin, unless there's anything else that you want to do, Leo.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Seems you have this one handled just fine. How deep is this water? I mean, I guess I'll just go this way either way.
Where like all the little rocks and stuff, it's only about waist deep.
Alright, well,
Maybe less. More like knee deep, and then it gets into waist and deeper as you get closer and closer.
tiny. Like, what was that? 30?
Yep, 30.
40. She doesn't see them, so she's gonna have to dash. 30. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Eeny meeny. Well, I guess I'll go. I guess I'll go help the merchant. Yo, Frosty. Over here.
All right. So you've still got your bonus action. You've still got an interaction, if you like.
I mean, I could rage.
Insulted enough, it'll hit you.
So if I rage now, it's the end of my neck that it ends at, if I haven't attacked?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So then I guess I'll rage now then.
Okay. Sounds good. We get back to the top as more of these things begin to pour out. And it's two more, and as they're coming through, you see kind of like two large metallic cylinders with like red glowing insides and more blue electricity like crackling down the side to kind of like grab the sides and like force it open. And out steps this mechanical looking creature, again with the kind of crystalline core in the center, and it almost looks angelic, but there's little metal pieces that form kind of like a brief skeleton that don't necessarily connect except for little bits of electricity that seem to bond the whole thing together. And you see it like come out and look around.
Oh, that's cool looking.
And you see parts of it begin to like glow and light up, and that core like starts sending electricity down its body. I'm gonna add these guys to the fray. All right. Okay. This thing over here. This thing is not smart. So it like comes and beats down on the guy and is gonna go for like another attack on it. And it gets shot from behind. Just registers the damage and immediately turns to chase after the one who shot it, being Nora. It's gonna come and basically
Stand on its buddy.
Stand on his dead friends.
It's gonna go over here. Oh, come on, self. Do what I want you to do. It's gonna come over this way.
I smack it.
He's got some movement.
Let's see here. It's not smart, so yeah, you can take an attack of opportunity. It's not trying to keep itself a little off.
Bam.
Yep, 19 hits. Okay, 7. Yep, and you know you can target this thing
Did
in Forge.
Oh, I
Right?
didn't target. I thought I did.
You're good. I got the damage.
Side note to Morgan, just so you're aware, that is considered magical due to an item I have.
You come by and like smack it in the ribs, and like there's a part of it that like collapses in, and some more of that kind of like tiny particle snow starts falling out, and runs up, and that was its whole turn to run that far. So there it is. The next guy. Let's see here. Yeah, he got random peoples. He's gonna start chasing after. Actually, he's gonna start going into the tent. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50. Yeah, you see this guy like disappear into the tent to go after the people in there. This one, Yadlin, did you address this guy as you came up?
I told him, hey, Frosty, come over here.
Roll an intimidation check on that last fight.
I'm so glad I gave you Shield of Fate.
Yeah.
It was a net 20.
Where was this at when we were playing Good Cop, Bad Cop?
Yep. So as you get up there and like it's just about to go after it's kind of like this the current guy who's like stalking these. It looks like a kind of a purple cauliflower, but it's more like flowery on the ends and like with these like large leafy greens. It's like a snail person. And is not fast at getting away and is like moving very slow and like leaping up on it. And as you come up, it's like, hey, Frosty! You do successfully get its attention. It's gonna come towards you and go for a strike. And that'll be a 15, and that'll miss. So it comes in just like big hammer arm coming in, and you just catch it in your hand, just like kind of throw it back into its face. All right, and let's go. Jameis, do you want to take your turn, or do you want to wait until we take a break?
Either one.
Okay, go for your turn. Go for your turn then, while I add in this next little ice path they made.
I would scoot forward and invisibly I would pull my rapier from my sheath, and I'm going to try to attack this with a necrotic blade.
Go ahead and roll at advantage because you are stealthy. Not great rolls, but these things have low AC, so it absolutely hits.
That's
weird. It asked me to place a template for that.
Just about to ask, where is Seamus? Never mind.
Secrets.
Oh, what? Oh.
Moving target.
Oh, no, that's if it moves, so that doesn't count.
Yep. It's not going to move anymore, but you slash into it and like you kind of like carve like deep down, kind of slicing its entire right or its entire left arm and like rib cage off, and it falls to the ground. The core exposes itself and explodes. I need both of you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please. Oh, actually, I wonder if I can make you do it myself.
Oh, bugger, mate. I've got to swap over.
No.
Always chosen.
Ooh.
I tried even to not be chosen. I was like, yeah, I don't need to go. You guys can do it without me. They're like, oh, shoot. Somebody else got sick. So I was like, oh, this job is killing me. Good luck.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so I was able to make you guys both roll. Okay, so that'll be...
And that 20.
Looks like it took the damage there. 5 damage.
Okay, yep, 5 damage for you, and I'm going to give her 1 HP back because she got a natural 20. She immediately, like, like covers herself in like her heavier scales, and they just kind of like glancingly slide off. Okay, cool. So that one is dead, and we lost Dallin.
I'm going to step outside now that it's dead. 15. I've got 20 feet of movement left here. Is there like something I can hide behind?
Yeah, this tree is rather large, and you can easily hide behind this tent as well.
Oh, the tree will be great. Oh yeah, I'll just move over here and bonus action hide.
Gotcha.
Now I see you. Now I don't.
Okay, for a 19.
Now you really don't.
All right. Go ahead and take a break there. We'll come back in 20 to continue the combat. All right, we come back to it, and another one of these like icy little golem dudes steps out and 30, 45, 40.
Oh no, not the horses.
No, actually, he is going after. He has to use his turn to dash, but he goes after. This is where I left Kilu's token, so she happens to be there right now.
No.
As she's coming back, and she's got like a little pack of stuff, and she's like, uh-oh. As this like giant electrical thing is in front of her. That's his turn. Nora is up. Anybody want to play Nora today? Nora has her pepper box out, so fresh reload on silver bullets, and it's just going to attack long range to hit this thing. That definitely hits. That's 8, and Nora's going to pump in one of her. Where is it? Come on now. Astral Spark. Putting in an Astral Spark to that shot to deal damage there. Oh, what was the first one? That one only takes half damage. So the astral shot with the extra force damage as the bullet comes out, kind of blue and kind of starry. That part goes through just fine. The regular silver bullet is still half damage. She's going to go ahead and do that shot again. And okay.
Just for clarity, it doesn't like overcome the magical resistance.
It does not, because it doesn't actually change the damage type of the bullet itself. It just adds an extra damage type on top of it. Okay. The next one, that's a 12. That does hit. For 1 being for 6 damage, and she's gonna. So that's her 1, 2. She's gonna action surge right now and go ahead and just continue blasting away at this thing that's about to come up on this little kiddo here. Attack. That still hits. Definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and divide by 2 on this one. Whoa, that dance did a. Okay, so 6.5. And then 1 final shot coming in for a 7. Yep, still hits. Jeez, what did she have to roll naturally? She rolled a 2 and got a 12. So the only way that she can miss these things is by getting a natural 1.
Oh.
Okay, so she hits there. And it did not give me the option to damage, so let me open it up a different way. Nope. Still no? Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. There we go. Now it's giving me the damage option. Okay, divide by 2. Okay, and that is... Why did that not... Come on now. Okay. The last damage did not go through for some reason. So, I'm going to give it 1 health point back, just so it can do its Death Burst ability. Okay. And Little Miss, what does she do? Where's her dex save? Oh, she rolled a 4, so she doesn't do very well. She takes, whatever it is. She takes 5 points of cold and lightning damage as this thing explodes and like kind of gets her, and she looks panicked, and she's got some spiky bits in her, but she doesn't look terribly hurt or anything. But she is more like freaked out by what just happened. This big old ice thing came up and like was gonna like looking like it was gonna like slam it like a big old blade down her, and just just this thing is chunked out from all these bullets from long range, and then just, and she's a little shell shocked at the moment. Dro is up.
So, seeing these couple things do the death burst, is it immediately upon death? Like, not even a moment to react and get away? You're muted.
I was muted for that, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it immediately explodes. No chance to get away. It just gets out right immediately. Just.
Do I want to do it? Nora's gonna get hit either way if I kill it. Yeah, let's do it. So who's near me? So the only people that probably see this is Nora and Leo. Watch as Dro kind of grabs kind of his shoulder, his right shoulder. And all he's going to do is take his quarterstaff and swipe out towards it from where he is. And you're going to watch as running down the quarterstaff, a shadowy tentacle just connect with this creature. Morgan, it's a magical item that I have.
I don't remember. Looking it up.
This is the bonus.
Okay, I see what
part.
it is. It's the mall, right?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I just target myself. I did. I'd rather not smack myself.
It's like that kid playing with nunchucks that doesn't know what they're doing.
All right. That's all it does. Make sure I didn't. Is this a straight roll?
If you take a step to the right, you essentially have like a big reach right now, but it's still a melee attack. So that way you would be flanking, and you can get a bonus.
Okay.
Or you can get an advantage.
Wow.
Ooh, you needed that advantage. Yeah, that hits.
So there's this damage plus. Oh, get it roll. Plus the d6 of force damage. for the first attack. Then second, maybe. Oh. A lot better. You're muted again.
Oh, damn it! as you reach out with your claw for the with the quarterstaff the first time, just doing a little bit extra damage on top of your normal strike, just you shatter and you break through that core, and it immediately explodes around you. Did that actually damage everybody? No, it did not. I wonder why. Okay, I'm gonna untarget everybody. Gonna retarget everybody, including myself, so that I hopefully die when I use my own ability.
Oh, I'm close enough to get hit by that?
10 feet.
Oh, shit. I would have been one step back then if I knew that. I get 15 feet
yeah,
with this.
You did. You did see about how far it was from the first one that exploded, so not a problem at all.
I'll even move
Okay,
it
let's
back.
try this again. There we go. Nora succeeds. Marcus succeeds. Just a little bit of damage flying out. And like these stalls are starting to look a little bit wrecked and shredded. Just all right, so that one dies. You still have your next attack.
Is there only one left? And then big boy
There's
in the
like
middle.
3 of them out. There's the big boy in the middle. There's like one in the smoke shop up ahead, and then there's one like down south beating up on a little owl. And I think
that one died. I'm right. Yeah. There's one in the smoke shop. Okay. Dro is just was here, so I stepped 5 feet over. So I had 45. This is probably so dumb. But he's just not seeing anything else besides the one over by Yaslin right now. Gonna start making his way over there. And I have nothing to attack. I can't cast a spell, can I?
No, because you already used your action.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I can do. I can just get up there.
Okay. Gotcha. Next up is Scala. She's going to run forward with her speed 5, 10. Let's see here. I'm doing this wrong. Let's see here. Is she in melee? Yeah, let's get this guy on an actual square. There we go. Yeah, so she's going to run up and just with claws out, she's going to rush up and just rake at this thing. And try to take it down. First attack is a bite. And that is a total of 8 that significantly misses. Next one is claws. And she's going to attack there. Okay, so for a 24, that's going to hit. Just for minimal damage, minimal roll, but it's it's a 1 max roll and 1 min roll for a total of 12. Let's see. All right, and that's it. Goes up and like just starts like slashing into this thing, and like the components like start to rip away, and wires start sparking and arcing between each other. And that is her turn. Leo.
He's probably just gonna run up and take a slash at this guy on the ice.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
Here we go.
And that will be an advantage because you are flanking.
Awesome. Let me do that one more time and we'll just see if it was better. Nope, wasn't better.
Earn that natural one.
Oh, cool. The attack was 22. Did that hit?
Yeah, 22 absolutely hits.
All right. Roll damage for this one. 10. All right, cool.
Okay.
Then we'll go for my second attack. Oh, another natural one on it, but
14
with a
does
14.
14 does not hit. The second one comes through and you see it like disconnect the electricity between its shoulder and its elbow. And the arm like drops for just a second until it like catches and reforms, but your arm slides through it, just hitting nothing but air.
Pretty cool. All right. Next I'll have Marcus run up, kind of get behind his head, and do his double attack.
It's good. Go ahead and do that strike. I'm going to put him just to the side here,
Yeah.
just so it's easier to target him.
All right. Do. Would it be at advantage or just normal?
Yeah, it's an advantage. He can get up and like be flanking.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wow. 19 and a 20.
Rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right. We'll do damage for his beak. And then roll attack for his claws. Oof. That was a 14, so that one misses.
That one does miss. Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of rakes across with the beak, and there's just like a little bit of like molten metal that like drips down into the, the eye. What would be the eye socket? It doesn't really care at all. It just kind of just keeps looking around. All right, and then we move over to Yaslin with the flipping tail.
She has it, but she's gonna use her great axe
All right.
and
Ripping
take
it
some reckless swings at this.
Okay. What does this great axe of yours look like?
Don't know.
Putting you on the spot for something we've never talked about.
Yeah, I'm like, I think, oddly enough, it would look fairly standard, but she would have carved sort of like ruins into the wood of it.
Ruins or like a picture of ruins?
Like symbols.
Okay, gotcha.
And there would be kind of like a loose kind of leather tassel almost attached closer to the base. Or the head, not the base.
Okay, cool.
Let me make sure of this.
Okay, so reckless. Yeah, 24 does hit. Go ahead and roll that attack. Or that damage.
Oh, that's a 1.
1! All right. And you can target the creature inside of Forge to make it automatically happen. There you go. I did it this time. So,
Okay.
this is non-magical damage, so it actually...
Yeah.
That's a total of 7, which means it goes down to half, which means it gets 3 HP back. Okay, cool.
And do I notice when I hit it the first time that it seems to kind of
Yeah, it just doesn't dig in quite as hard. Like it's kind of like a resistant material, and it's like trying to chop through rock almost.
Alright, and so using the momentum of that swing, I'll pivot and hit it with my tail.
Okay, nice. Slamming it right in the side, hypothetically. If you roll a 1, I'm gonna throw you by your tail into a bunch of carts. Damn.
I totally wanted that one.
Okay. 23 absolutely hits, so go ahead. Okay,
And my tail does do magical damage.
okay, so
Use of my form of the beast weapons.
for a full 13, you slam it, and your tail actually like crushes into it, and like you have to slither it out, and there's like a gaping hole in its side, and it is looking pretty rough.
Yeah. Alright, and I'm just gonna kind of snicker to it and have my full movement still. So
Yep.
I will totally risk that and take an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Oh.
So
wait,
that was me. The attack
Okay.
happens before you move.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that'll actually go through and hit. That's a 22.
And I think I can use that actually now.
And remind me what that does.
So essentially, as a reaction to when I get hit with an attack, I can roll a d8 and add it to my AC as my tail essentially blocks it.
Nice. Okay, so go ahead and roll a d8.
Oh,
You are currently at a 19, so you need to roll above a 3.
I knew that tail had something else. I couldn't remember what it was. 5.
5.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You go and like your tail just like full on just like meets it, just and like, it drops away, and you're able to move just fine.
Alright. And I go 10.
Just
over
hear Jero
here.
yell, "Show off." Or no, more like, "You're welcome."
Thank you. So
You're welcome, Joa.
Yeah.
Get to here. I point my axe at this one and say, "You're next."
Right.
That'll be my turn.
Okay, next is this dude. He is going to. I'm going to say Marcus is about like 10 feet in the air from when he was like trying to hit this thing on its head. This thing is going to fly straight up. Okay, it's going to fly straight up 30 feet. And Leo, Marcus, and Escala can all take an attack of opportunity on it.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, sorry, let me put it back on the ground first. That was cool, though. It denied me the ability to attack it because it was too high in the air. Oh, and this is at advantage, which is great, because that was a natural 1. And that's a 3. Escala, it doesn't expect it to start to fly up, and it just jets way out of her range. So that's her go. Leo, go ahead. You've still got advantage, and so does Marcus.
Okay. Can I just use my sword, like do a normal attack, or does it?
Yep, it's just a... No, it's a basic attack
Okay.
that you use as your reaction. Yeah, that absolutely hits.
Pretty good.
Okay, yep. And yep, it takes damage, keeps on going. And then Marcus.
He'll just use his beak. Oh, I'll roll one more time because I didn't do advantage. Nice.
Again.
Hey, yeah.
I like this bird.
And okay, that's going to be half damage on the piercing, so that's a total of 3 damage that goes through. And the fire that naturally happens on his beak goes up. Let me see here. Features beak. Yeah, I gave him a little bit of fire damage. So his fire claws ability gives him extra fire damage besides just like the little amount.
Yeah, he has a 1d2 on his 2 attacks, so he does a tiny bit of fire.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes up, and like as Marcus like rakes on the shoulder, one of the shoulders like kind of sparks out and like hangs limply, because of the natural 20, and that will have purpose in a moment. So it goes up, and you see the core inside of his chest kind of start glowing, and like there's this field that encompasses about goes about 60 feet around from him. And it's I'm gonna make a marker here that's like 30 feet. Because he's 30 feet in the air as well. And the whole area starts to tingle and crackle like there's increased electrical charge in the air around him. And he looks down at Marcus and Leo, and he's going to the one arm that's still good. He's going to point it towards Leo, and it's going to charge up. And you see the electricity sparking and like building up down his arm. And it shoots out like a cannon, and it's going to attack Leo with. Oh, I can almost guarantee this is gonna not do it properly. So I'm just gonna roll this one myself because it's gonna try to do both effects at the same time. Okay, so that would be a 20 to hit.
That'll hit both of us.
Okay. And so the first portion is just on Leo. This is a chain lightning effect.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. So Leo is going to take. Oh, and because it's doing it inside of its field, it's going to be a little extra. Okay, so Leo takes. Do math. I can do math. Wow, I rolled really well on that. Leo's going to take 31 points of lightning damage.
Jeez.
I really hate when you say, Morgan, I rolled really well on that.
Yeah, that's the prerogative of the DM.
Last time we heard that, Dro and Yazling was introduced and then almost killed.
It's like, why does it have to be psychic damage?
Yep, exactly. And then I need Marcus to, as this electricity rocks Leo in the chest and kind of like makes his hair stand up and his like eyes go white for just a moment. The lightning bounces off of him and targets Marcus. I need Marcus to make a a dexterity saving throw. That is not high enough. Marcus is going to take. I rolled less well, but not terrible though. Come on now. Guys, I can't do basic math today. This is a problem.
It's the end of the the day, like 3 days after a time change, you know, like
Right. Totally gonna blame it on that, not the fact that I have no brain powers. That is Marcus is gonna take 28 points of lightning damage. And I believe that will make Marcus fall unconscious as he gets zapped hard.
Oh,
And like his eyes roll back and he falls into the water. And Marcus has the same. Any of Leo's summons behave like people, where they can be revived and they go through death saving throws.
do they also die? I guess.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm curious
They
on.
can die.
Okay.
Yep. And the creature, this construct, after it like shoots its arm out, you see like some molten metal kind of like, and like it kind of like explode, like there's little shock waves like that come through the arm, and the arm itself looks a little bit damaged as it takes 6 points of damage from using its ability.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Alrighty. And then its secondary arm that Marcus took out with the natural 20 begins to come back online. Okay. At this point, we are back at the top of the round. Some new critters start to come through. There's a couple more of these guys that y'all have seen. More of the cannon fodder start to come through. I'm going to move this guy over here. And there's something about it. Everybody, just give me a quick perception check.
I was just about to ask you something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Hey,
All right.
Leo rolled a 20.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
Leo with all the high, like it's either burning a natural one or it's kicking my ass.
Hey, you killed this bird.
I did kill his bird. Okay, Leo. Marcus just went down. Your longtime buddy. How are you reacting to this at the moment?
Leo's pretty well focused. He's probably has some internal rage right now, but he's not gonna stop and try to attend to Marcus. He's gonna deal with the problem at hand.
Okay, gotcha.
So currently, while I am shifted, different than my rage, I have advantage on wisdom checks. So that's where that advantage from perception is coming from.
So both, and even Dro. So Dro, Leo, Gazlin, the three of you from inside of the crack, inside of the graft, you hear.
Just look over at Yaslin.
That wasn't it. This isn't it. There's something else coming.
Yep. And
Okay.
okay. And then gonna introduce the Snake Man. He's gonna hop in, and so is Poing. As there's a few warriors that are in the group, and somebody else as well. Okay. So going back up to the very top. This weird this crystalline golem dude he's gonna march forward, and like everybody else is like hiding in the corners, and like except for that lizard guy that like came up and like talked to Leo for a moment, and be like, "Wow, this is a lot."
What are you doing?
and he's just like sitting there, just like, and this guy's gonna come up and go directly for a strike on this dude. What do you mean I'm blocked by a wall? There's no walls. Seriously, there's no walls right here. What's your problem?
It's a mental wall. You have to get over it.
Just climbs over the table.
And that'll be a natural 19. That's absolutely gonna hit. For a that's 14 damage, but he succeeds on the Constitution saving throw as he gets like smacked across the face with little ice crystals. And you see his hood, like Yaslin's the only one that sees this. His hood like flares up. It kind of like swells and gets a little bit bigger.
You better have poison damage.
Okay, that'll be it. This dude is gonna run after Yaslin. I'm gonna come over here and it's gonna go for an attack on her. Oh, no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so targeting. There we go. Okay, rolling here.
Do I do it again?
Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll. Once again, you got to roll above a 3.
Oh, so she does a 7.
Yep, you do. Okay. So the tail just doing its job, just like it's like a kung fu master like fighting a novice, just like
Just swipes it away.
Yep, and that's it. That's all it has.
That's what happens when Dro fights Yaslin.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You're cheating."
Yep. Okay, Seamus is up.
Why is Seamus 10 feet in the air?
That's a good question.
Let's fix that. Okay.
Not even Seamus knows why.
Seamus is just like floating upside down. Like,
How does this happen? Let's see. I am going to step out from behind this tree and I'm going to try to pull the shadows that are dancing around this creature like down upon it. Let's see. An 18 to hit.
yeah, that's it. Okay, which creature are you attacking?
I was targeting the giant creature in the center. It looks like it did the damage.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Flux Charger.
Yeah. So what's Shadow's Touch do? Gosh, I don't know what's happening, but I can't like open up the ability in the chat and actually see what it does.
Yeah, I can't open that one either, but it's what is the actual?
Okay. Oh, okay. I know. This is a cantrip. Okay,
It's,
cool.
yeah, it's chill touch essentially. So like yeah, just this like a shadowy hand like kind of creeps up over the top of it and like starts to like just send this like dark energy through it. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And no immunities or resistances on that. So yeah, it starts to just rip it apart. And can't regain hit points. Okay, gotcha.
And then I'm going to duck behind one of these tents and bonus action hide again.
Sounds good. Let's see here. Leo, roll a perception check for me.
I am very perceptive.
Uh, 15. Okay. Leo, you hear a sound that you are familiar with as of last night.
Huh.
It's a little angrier than what you heard. But Belga reaches the side of the map.
Nice.
I forgot about her.
Yep, you're welcome. With her axe in hand, and just begins to run towards the enemy. Let's see here. Nope. Okay, that's it. So she's going. So this is her doing her dash to get into the fray. She was a little bit further out. So she's coming in. Nora's turn. Okay, so Nora has fired two. She's got 2 shots left in her gun. She's gonna point it up towards the creature in the sky, and I think she's going to She's going to use a grit to attempt a dazing shot on this thing. Pepper box. Okay. So this attack is going to go out. And ooh, that's a 3. What is the misfire score on her pepper box? Misfire is a 2. So the grit does not take. She sees the concern about this thing's abilities. She's gonna try the same thing again and consume another grit point. Oh shit, that is 2. Okay. The pepper box kind of sparks and flares and oh son of a, not now, this is terrible time. Trying to get the accent right. But that's Nora's turn, is screwing it up. Dro!
Oh, would just enjoy this.
Yeah, she's going to re-roll that and burn the inspiration that she has. 19. Okay. 19 for a 29. That will hit. So damage is going to go through. For let's see here, what's this thing's got? Okay, so it's going to get. It's resistant, so to that, but she's also going to do Astral Spark on it. So it's looking pretty bad. It's just like the whole thing is just like sparking and glitching and like just twitching around and not working properly. And it needs to do a something saving throw.
Con save D16.
Yes.
And that's due to the type of shot she did?
Yeah. That is a 14. So its next attack suffers disadvantage on all attacks until the end of their next turn. Okay, so that was Nora. Now it's to Dro with the Scala on deck.
Could I get across by running across, jumping from these ice paths, and get to Marcus?
Yes, you can. As a monk, you've got the range to do so.
So immediately we'll get to him. Look over at Leo. I'm gonna get him out of here. And before Leo can even respond, he's scooping Marcus up, and you watch as Marcus's body pulses purple for a second. So that casts Spare the Dying on Marcus. And then Dro turns around, and the wind picks up, and he does Step of a Wind and gets away.
Okay.
Cool.
Just so you're aware, you can heal Marcus as well. Oh, like Marcus responds to healing just like a PC would.
Yeah.
If that's something you want to do.
Yeah, I don't want to blow the spell slot just yet on that.
Okay, gotcha.
Hold on, let me check something because I don't want to provoke attack of opportunity.
I brought him up to 1 HP. Is that the right thing to do for Spare the Dying?
Oh no, Spare the Dying just means like he doesn't have to go through saving throws. And he's stable, so he's not getting closer to death.
Oh, it's just stable. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Do Step for the Wind? Do I provoke an attack of opportunity? I didn't hit him, so my mobile doesn't come into play. I can't cast a spell and hit. I can disengage, but I won't have the distance that I would like to have.
Yeah. Oh, you're not gonna provoke attack of opportunity. That dude's 30 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
So you're good. You can do the dash action instead.
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay. Cool.
So where was I? I was here 35. So I'm over at like 100 feet. So ridiculous freaking movement.
Yep. Oh, and Leo, because it's not happening right now because Marcus is unconscious, but you should your armor class is 18 when Marcus is near you because of your herd defense.
All right, forget about that. Okay.
Yep. And then you also have the subclass feature where you can give him +1 to attack, +1 to AC, or +1 to saving throws.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll put a reminder somewhere.
Yeah. Where'd you go, Dro?
I took off all the way back over to.
He's gone.
Just poof, took off.
Everyone's wondering the same thing.
When Dro gets over here and looks around to see who's here and sees the little owl look down at Marcus, looks over at her, protect this one, and hands it over to her. And he turned his attention back towards.
What? Oh, dear.
Just turn around. They're like you.
Oh God.
Then.
There we go. Okay, so that's Dro. Next up is Escala. Frustratingly, she cannot reach this thing in the air, so she turns her attention to this new critter that just arrived on the side. And she's going to... The stat block I am using for her does not give her like a good sword ability, but I should have thought about that. She's actually going to
Steal a sword from the store.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. No, she's going to jump over here to this ice patch, and she's going to use her Rend the Field ability to attack each creature of its choice within 10 feet. Okay. Consuming recharge. So that is One of them fails. One of them succeeds. Let me see. The one that fails is knocked prone into the water or into the ice, and they both suffer an attack to make an attack. Okay, cool. So it's a claw attack against both of them. That definitely hits. So it's going to be 10 damage to the one that is prone. Why is this not working? Why are you not applying your damage? Okay, and the other one, attacking here. That is going to be a 15. That also hits. And damage coming in here. There we go. Things are not working the way that I think they should. So she comes over. One of them gets knocked down to the ground. The one, and she just like becomes like this whirling dervish of like claws and tails and scratchy things all from her body, and slashes up, and that consumes her recharge. Next up is Poing. And Poing is going to come over here and get out of her own door. And then she is going to... she's going to use her short bow and attack this thing. For an 18. And hits for a decent amount of damage, but is immune to poison damage. So her poison damage does not apply. Okay, next up is Leo. We're gonna skip Kilu because she's just huddling and protecting around Marcus, except she like puts her hand on it and him, and like there's a light glow that surrounds his body as she casts mage armor.
Turns around. What?
She's a magic owl. Okay.
What? I'm a mage. It's what I do.
Stares at her.
All right, Leo will use his bonus action to cast Second Wind to regain some health. "15 health, nice.
Oh, dang.
Heck yeah.
Then he let's see. I think what he's going to do is he's going to try to get out of the circle.
Also, Morgan, with all this going on, the portal that these things came through, is it shrinking in size or is it remaining the same?
Growing larger.
Oh, it's growing larger.
Lovely.
Mhm.
Right?
As this fight continues, that sound you heard begins to loom closer.
Okay.
All right. Then Leo is going to use his action to attack this other guy who's next to him. But he's going to use his sword's ability to regain health if I hit.
Are there any restrictions on that? Like you can't regain health from constructs or anything?
Okay. When you hit a creature with an attack roll using the sword, you can expend 1 charge to regain a number of hit points equal to the extra radiant damage the sword dealt.
Cool. So it has nothing to do with them having blood or like a physicality or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
Whatever my radiant damage is. Oh.
Nice.
All right. 11.
11 does not hit, but you are flanking because Escala moved over across the way from you.
Perfect. Let me try
Go
one
ahead.
more time then. Oh,
Or another
Another
11. All right. Nope. This time, just you're trying to get yourself back up on your feet and like continuing on, and you're just not quite strong enough to slice through this thing. Keep going.
yeah, I got one more attack, right? So I'll just go ahead and try one more time on this guy.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and expend my abilities. Well, try to regain some
There
health.
you go. Yep. Definitely hit this time. Okay, for what was that radiant damage? Hey, 5 more points of health back to you. And 10 points go in. I think that already applied. Perfect.
Cool. And then yeah, Marcus is just chilling.
Okay,
That'll
cool.
be Leo's turn.
Alrighty. Yaslin, you are up.
Alrighty.
You got a level 5 clinger on you.
Yeah. She's like, get off my tail. She will rinse and repeat since it's be effective.
Okay. Yep. The tail attack goes through. Go ahead and roll it. Okay, 12 points. All right, that will be enough to do it. It is going to use its death burst ability on you. And as you like turn around and you crash through it and that little arc or that little core comes out, you see interacting with like the extra like ambient energy that's surrounding the space from this mechanical electrical creature that's in the air. And you see some of the extra energy suck into the core. And it explodes more violently.
Yeah. This is something she can see, yeah?
This is something she can see. It is a dex save. You did succeed on it.
Okay. Because she has advantage on that.
Yes.
See.
And it is dead, so you end up taking half damage, so that would be 7 points of lightning damage. Lightning and cold mixed. And it is dead. Okay. So now it's the rest of Yaslin's turn. So that was your first attack.
Alright, she looks at the serpent. Do you need help?
Been a while since I've flexed my muscles. Seems like a good chance. Go help the others.
Alright. Yeah. Do. And then. Oh, she's so big. But I can swipe him from here. Seems like a really bad idea. I'm like, guys. These things explode violently.
Does not see this at all. He's behind a building right now.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll go ahead and, because she can reach 10 feet, she'll take a swipe at this one as well.
All right, go for it.
No.
Yep, that'll hit. Okay,
For 12.
12 damage.
Consistency.
Looking very, very bad.
Alright, and that's where she ends her turn.
Okay. Next up is the Flux Charger. And still in the air, it's going to turn around and point. Let me see. Who does it consider the biggest threat? It's going to turn around and line up both of its blasts to launch out at Escala.
Oh boy.
Okay. Oh no, I had to roll this one myself because I know it'll screw it up. The first attack going out is a dirty 20 that will hit. Second one going out is an 18, which will also hit. Oh no, that was my first attack. So the first attack was 18 because of the dazing shot that was at disadvantage. So the disadvantage still hits on a Scala. Here's disadvantage attack number 2. That'll be a 17 to hit, which is still going to be good enough. She does not have a high armor class. It's only a 15. So that goes through. So her things damage.
Was that 4 rolls in? Did you roll the second attack at disadvantage also?
I did.
Cool.
Come on, where's my dice? Come on now. Okay, so the first one comes out that is... Wow. Wow. I rolled really freaking well. Yep, that's the right dice. That is 40 points of lightning damage.
I need you to stop.
I rolled max on 4 out of my 5 dice.
Oof.
What is it, like a D10?
Currently, it's 3d10 plus 2d8 because of the lightning field that is happening, and I only rolled a 4 on one of my d10s and maxed everything else. So that's the first blast. The second blast. Yeah.
God, where's Kevis when I need him right now?
This one is not nearly as good. Okay, so that's 26 points of damage, and she is unconscious.
I was wondering how much of a beating she could take.
Yeah, I'm gonna put her down to unconscious. You guys she will go through death saves. Technically, she's a monster and not an NPC, so it automatically tried to kill her. Okay, and then one going to Leo, one going to Yaslin. I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws. Yaslin, you have advantage on this because you can see it.
Oh, jeez. Got a decent roll.
Thank God for the
Okay,
advantage.
you both save. And And
Oh no.
no, that's it. You both save, and the arc completely misses you. There is no half damage on a miss.
That means it has to be a lot of damage, I think.
Yeah, did you see what it did to her?
It's a decent amount of damage, yeah. Yeah, I should have targeted you guys.
Oh my god.
I could have taken out half of Yaslin's health in one hit. That would have been great.
That would have been so mean.
And then it begins to once again its arms are like heating up and kind of like cracking and popping. And ooh, I rolled really well in your favor.
I was gonna say, is it the damage on him?
Nope.
Aw.
Oh yeah, I rolled high on the damage. There was a chance that I was going to survive my own attack, and it didn't happen.
So, and maybe we don't know this, but out of game, is it every time he attacks, like it backfires on him or something?
Every time he uses the chain lightning attack, yeah. There's a little bit of reverb. But you guys had damaged him heavy enough that it was really close. So it like shoots up and it just like everything like begins to like melt, and it like tries to like recollect itself, and like the arcs just like start to fall apart one by one, and it just like kind of convolutedly like explodes huge in the area, and the field around it that amplifies the electrical damage dissipates as it falls into a scrap heap into the water. Leo, you see the face mask land flat like a backflop right in the water right in front of you, and it kind of stares at you straight with like a little bit of molten metal running down its eye from where Marcus bit it before it like submerges and sinks down to the ground. Next up is Snake Man. He's going to pull the scimitar out from behind his back, and he's going to go to town. He's just going to swipe at this thing twice. Yep, there we go. So, scimitar. That is going to be a 10. That misses. The second attack. A 12. That does hit. So it comes in, and that is just 4 points of damage. It is just a whoa. That is just it's a normal sword, so it only like bites in and doesn't get a lot of indentation or anything. Okay, that'll be his turn. Unfortunately for both kind of more of the adventuring types in the hut, they are both poison fighters, and these things are immune to poison. Okay. So as the flux charger disincorporates itself and falls into the water, and through the gap you see two large, not fists, they're like cylinders that have been capped off with blue kind of portholes kind of looking out of them, and blue energy begins to kind of pour off of them. And again, you see this large thing, this muscular, cybernetic creature begin to weave its way through, bigger than the flux charger. And you see this thing begin to pull itself out. And it exits the portal and stands on the ice, and the ice begins to crack underneath its own weight. And just for fun, I'm going to make him a little bit larger.
That's gonna be fun. Dro can't see it right now.
Yep. So this guy comes out of the portal, and those that are close, you still hear behind this guy.
Back to your home.
Back to your home. Did you just
Back
Adam?
home.
Did you just Adam Sandler my monster?
Pretty much. You're not wanted here. Go away.
Yep. I'm gonna delete my flux.
Oh my gosh!
Further.
Did he just step on? Okay, like he just stepped on those bodies.
No, I was just looking at things. There we go. Ooh, he rolled pretty well. He's going
Right before
fifth this time. Mm-hmm. Oh, and a couple more little guys come out. All right. So that's where we're gonna wrap up for the day.